What about food? What can we do to help protect the food infrastructure and mitigate a problem that might arise from that? Federal and state planning for a food emergency should adopt an EMP scenario that affects multiple states or the entire nation as the new baseline for planning, and not assume, as does the current FEMA federal response plan, that a food crisis will be localized and affect only 10,000 people and last only 3 days. Relevant federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, should supplement their plans to meet food emergencies by drawing on federal food stockpiles. And federal food stockpiles should be sized to meet a possible large-scale food crisis in the event of massive disruption of the food infrastructure from EMP or other causes. The federal government should make it a priority to plan to protect, deliver, and ration food from regional warehouses under conditions where an EMP catastrophe has disrupted the power, transportation, and other infrastructures for a protracted period. The Stafford Act that authorizes the President to feed the American people in a food emergency, in practice, currently does so by providing monies and coupons to purchase food locally. Well, that's not going to work in an EMP catastrophe. You know, the Stafford Act should be amended to do what it was actually originally intended to do, which was to actually provide real plans and not just a box-checking exercise to say, well, we're going to print some coupons or give you some money, and now go find the food. It should actually have a real plan that would work to feed the people under conditions where local food supplies don't exist and you've got massive infrastructure damage. The U.S. Armed Forces should be authorized to make contingency plans to feed the American people from military resources, such as meals ready to eat, MREs, just as the armed services currently make contingency plans now to rescue and feed foreign people in the event of a natural disaster or other emergency threatening the general population of nations overseas. In recent U.S. natural disasters, such as Hurricanes Andrew and Katrina, the federal government called on the military as a poorly planned act of desperation, an act of last resort when other federal agencies proved unequal to the task. When American lives are at risk due to a domestic natural disaster or EMP attack in the United States, the President and the U.S. Armed Services should be prepared legally and operationally to use military resources to rescue the American people as an instrument of first resort. The Department of Defense actually has contingency plans and does a great job. For example, in the Indonesian situation, when there was the tsunami out there, we're prepared to go to Africa, to rescue people and alleviate famines there. The American people are usually, surprised to find out that there aren't contingency plans to use our military forces. There's tremendous pushback from the usual bureaucracies assigned that task to use the armed forces to rescue the American people. We should treat our own people at least as well as we treat the Indonesians. Families and individuals, individuals should take personal responsibility for their own safety by building a private stock of food and water for emergencies, just as our parents and grandparents used to do. And that concludes my remarks. Thank you very much for your patience. Very grateful.